Hey guys, CharrChan here, and today's video I am drawing yet another Yu-Gi-Oh fan art. I'm not sure how many Yu-Gi-Oh videos, like art videos I've done recently, but I know I have drawn a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh fan art in my own time. And I have done a lot of figure unboxings, Yu-Gi-Oh figure unboxings, a lot of them, because I have gained quite a little collection of Yu-Gi-Oh figures recently, so yes. Well, today's art is kind of different to what I'd normally draw with my Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, I think. I'm drawing Yami Yugi looking a bit spooky, and I drew this before I had seen Season 0. Though halfway through drawing this, I did watch and complete Season 0. If you don't know, Season 0 is the 1998 version of the anime, which is more accurate to the original manga, which is like a horror comedy apparently, which, yeah, I can see that. It is kind of a horror anime in a way, but it's just such a different experience to Duel Monsters, and I love both shows equally. They are so good. I'm not gonna go on and analyse them both or whatever, but I will say that 1998 Yu-Gi-Oh and Duel Monsters, they support each other in a way. They fill in the blanks for each other, and I think if you love Duel Monsters, you will also love the original anime, at least I do. So yes, those are my thoughts on the two animes. Love them both equally, and I'm probably going to go and watch them again. It's not even a probably, it's definitely. I'm definitely going to watch them again, because I really love Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, let's talk about this artwork. So, as I said, it was kind of Season 0 inspired in a way, but only halfway through when I'd actually seen Season 0. In the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime, Yugi, when he is possessed by the Millennium Puzzle, I guess, is a lot more spooky in a way. Like, it is very much a horror genre of cursed artifact kind of thing. Honestly, it's just so different, and it's very good. Anyway, I wanted this to be a bit more spooky in its vibes. It's maybe not quite how I envisioned it, but it is still, it's almost there. It's almost how I envisioned it, but maybe not quite. But it's still pretty close. I will say that I did draw his eyebrows quite long. Like, don't pay too much attention to his eyebrows because they aren't even like fully on his face anymore. I'm not sure how that really happened, but just ignore his eyebrows, it's alright. I did notice this like halfway through. I was like, his eyebrows are quite long, but I just left them because it didn't look too bad. I was like, oh, it's fine. So, yes. I also didn't draw all the little lines that Yami normally has on his face, because I just didn't think it would suit this particular drawing. I also didn't draw any lines on the hair. I thought that would also look a bit strange for this particular drawing as well, so less line work for me, but yeah. Anyway, the line work actually is something that took me a while. I spent quite a good couple of hours doing the lines for this. I did my line art much thinner than I normally would. I normally work with about like a 40 to 50 pixel brush with pressure sensitivity on, and this was a 15 pixel brush with pressure sensitivity, of course, which is a lot thinner than I normally work with. So yeah, I did save myself a bit of time with being able to copy and paste symmetrical things like the eyes and the ears, though they aren't fully symmetrical. Sometimes I had to resize things a little bit for it to look right, so yeah. Anyway, yeah, line art took me a while because it is much different to my normal thing that I normally do, but that's okay because I do like what I did. I think it looks pretty good, and it was worth spending the time on. What else can I say? The colour palette. The colour palette, I wanted to do very warm colours. I don't normally work in exactly this colour palette. It is very kind of different to what I'd normally work with. I normally go for like a purple colour palette, and yes, this does have a lot of purple in it, but there's also some reds in here. I don't work with red an awful lot, which is kind of strange. I don't really notice it, but I just don't work with red very much. Like, yes, I will use it for details, I think, but I don't think it's never a main colour in my artworks. It's always like a little accent colour, but for this artwork it is quite a main colour in the thing. We've got the red shirt. The shirt is based on a shirt that he does actually own in the anime, in the Duel Monsters anime. I saw it when I was watching, it's the episode where Yugi takes the pharaoh on a little day out with Taya, and he's choosing what to wear, and we see a shot of his bed with all his shirts laid out, and he's got this red shirt. I'm like, oh, I want to draw that, so I drew it. I don't think I drew it quite accurately because I didn't actually use reference for the shirt, I just kind of drew something, but it is pretty similar, so that's why he's wearing a red shirt, because Yugi does canonically own a red shirt. Although you're meant to believe he only owns black tank tops, apparently. That's the only thing he ever wears. So, yeah. Anyway, so for the phone, I could not really find a good reference, so it does look a little bit funky. It could look better. I do like how I included the little eye symbol as the speaker portions of it. I think that looks pretty cool. It will look better at the end of the artwork. Like in the line art phase it looks a bit sad, but with the lighting and shading it does look a lot better. For the shading, which we haven't got onto yet because we're still in the line art phase, the line art took forever, it took ages, and the colouring went a lot more quickly. But anyway, for the shading, I wanted to do just plain cell shading with no gradients, but it didn't look right, so I did add gradients in the end. Yeah, I did try to stick to a very limited colour palette for this as well. It might not show in the final piece that I did, but when I was drawing it I was being very conscious of trying not to use too many colours. It's not something I do particularly often. Normally I'll be like, well, this thing has to be this colour and so on and so forth, but for this one I was like, well, I don't want to do the metal as grey, so I did it almost white. There is some grey in there, but it's not like a jumping out at you grey. It's a very pale, barely noticeable grey, and I think that really suits what I was trying to go for. Yeah. Anyway, what else can I talk about? Because I think I've said pretty much everything about the artwork. Oh, I'll mention the background while I think on. For the background of this artwork, I actually just copy and pasted it from my previous big Yu-Gi-Oh painting, which was the one where Yugi's got the Millennium Puzzle and it's glowing, and Yami's behind him with the big eye symbol and it's rainbows and cards are flying everywhere. You know, if you've seen that video, it's a speed paint on my channel. I'm sure you can go and find it if you want. But I just copy and pasted the background from that because I was like, well, I can't be bothered to make another background, so I just, copy and paste to save myself some time, and I think it looks okay. I did also darken it a bit. I used the burn tool to darken it a couple of shades, and that's how I got the background. He looks like he's in the Shadow Realm. I also did 2 versions of this drawing. Oh, and the telephone wire I had to draw twice because I drew it one time, it was like, oh, it looks pretty bad, so I had to draw it again, and it looked a lot better the second time round. So just goes to show that sometimes redrawing something is a good idea, even if it's frustrating to have to draw it again, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Yeah, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, I actually forgot what I was just about to say. Well, I can talk about something else now, I guess. So, I cannot for the life of me think what I was gonna say before I got distracted with the telephone wire. So, anyway, let's talk about something else, because I have probably Yu-Gi-Oh figure things to get my words muddled up in my mouth. I have Yu-Gi-Oh figure things that I would like to talk about, because I have things that I want to say, but I don't know what video to put them in, so we're gonna put them in this video. So, Yu-Gi-Oh figures. As you may have seen from a lot of my previous videos on my channel, I keep recording videos of me unboxing Yu-Gi-Oh figures because I have been collecting quite the little amount of them. And I am not showing any signs of stopping anytime soon, just collecting all the Yu-Gi-Ohs, let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh figures, because that's something I'm very passionate about right now. So, as you may know, I have quite the collection of little Yu-Gi-Oh figures. Well, I say quite the collection, it's, let's count them. We've got 5 Yugis, 2 Kaibas, Dark Magician Girl, and then Joey and Bakura. That's 10 Yu-Gi-Oh figures. 11 if you count the bootleg Nendoroid that I'm currently customizing. So that's amassed in quite a short span of time, like a few months, so yes. Anyway, I have figures that I want to exist, but just do not exist. Let's talk about those. So, one thing that I would really love to see is more regular Yugis. I'm not talking about Yami Yugi. We have so many Yami Yugi figures like the Pharaoh, but we don't have many Yugis, like plain, unpossessed Yugi, you know? We have 2. We have 2 regular Yugis. We have, both of these figures are from the Dark Side of Dimensions. There's the prize figure from Furyu, which is just, you know, him stood there holding a card. I own that figure, it's on my desk, I'm looking at it right now, and it's a nice figure, I do love it. And then we also have the off-brand Figma, like it's not Figma, but it's also like a jointed anime figure with interchangeable faces and hands. And that's also from the Dark Side of Dimensions movie, and it's just Yugi, but as a non-Figma. There is a Yugi Figma, but it's Yami Yugi, of course. I almost bought that Figma the other day, actually, and I'm regretting not buying it because it was at such a good price. But I was like, oh, I don't want to spend that much money today, because I'm saving for the Bakura Nendoroid, because that's coming out really soon. I'm so excited for the Bakura Nendoroid. Anyway, didn't buy the Figma, kinda sad about it, but you know, we'll live. We will live, we will get him eventually, when I decide that I would like to add him to the collection. Anyway, so yes, I would love to see more regular Yugi figures, because we only have Yami for some reason. Well, I guess he's like the character who has the more screen time, so yeah. I do love Yami, but where's my Yugi content? Where is Yugi, you know? Anyway, on the topic of Yugi figures that I think should exist, I would love to see just Yugi stood there and then behind him is like a transparent, translucent Yami. How cool would that be? I'm not sure how easy it would be to do. I imagine it would be quite difficult and quite expensive, so I don't hold any hopes for this figure to ever exist, but it would be so cool to see, you know, like just Yugi stood there being all short and then Yami stood behind him just a little bit taller and fully translucent, like coloured plastic painted with translucent paints. Maybe a little bit of glitter in there, maybe. I'm not really sure about glitter in figures. But I think that would look so nice. It would be so expensive though. I cannot imagine the cost of that figure if it were to ever exist. I think it would work well as a garage kit, because that's kind of, it gives me garage kit vibes, but you know, I'm not a garage kit painter. I'd love to try, but I don't really have time. And also garage kits are expensive, so, you know, I don't really want to dish out that much money for a figure I have to paint myself, so yeah, it's just not quite my thing right now. Maybe in future I'll give it a try. There are some Yu-Gi-Oh garage kits that look pretty fun, but they're kind of difficult to get hold of. I saw a garage kit the other week. No, the other day, it was yesterday night, sorry. Yesterday night I saw a Yu-Gi-Oh garage kit and it was, what was it, £1,500? It was so expensive. I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm not going anywhere near that. Anyway, so there's my Yugi figure idea. I think maybe you could also put some Karibos in there, that would be kind of cute. Yeah. Oh, did you all see that resin statue that's getting released? I think it's a resin statue, but it's like it looks like a big figure and it looks very expensive, and it's got Slifer or what's like the original name? Is it Osiris? The red dragon Slifer. Slifer's back there and Yugi is summoning him. It looks so good, but it must be so expensive. I I couldn't imagine purchasing it right now. I'd love to own it, but Jesus Christ, that price tag, too much for me. Well, I say that, but I do plan on buying the Marek Art of XJ figure at some point, which has skyrocketed in price in the aftermarket. That is it's gonna hurt, it's gonna sting, but I think it'll be worth it because I really want the Marek figure. Anyway, let's talk about other figures that don't exist but I think really should. And notable characters that don't have any figures are, well, there's 3 of them I think. Oh no, wait, I have one more that I think is more iconic and deserves a scale figure. Pegasus. Where is my Pegasus figure? We only have pop vinyls, and you know, I'm not really a pop vinyl person. I don't really want to collect them. I do own a few, nothing against them, but I would rather have a really nice detailed scale figure of Pegasus. He would have looked so good in the Art of XJ line, but alas, he does not exist. I would love to own that, but it doesn't exist. Please, anyone who makes figures, any manufacturers who are watching this, Kotobukiya, if you can obtain the rights to Yu-Gi-Oh figures, please, I am begging you. I also think there should be a Mokuba that you can stand with Kaiba. I think that would be really nice. And also, you know, a Taya and Tristan. That would be really good. Because Taya and Tristan and Mokuba and Pegasus don't really have much, you know? And like, they are 4 important characters in the series. Where are they? Where are they? Also regular Bakura, please. Give us regular Bakura figures. I know most of these characters have those little trading figures, but you know, they're not like scale figures, you know? I'd like scale figures, Nendoroids, prize figures, even prize figures would do, you know? I like my figures to be sizable sometimes, you know? Anyway, yeah. There's my ideas for Yu-Gi-Oh figures and my ranting about how figures I want to exist don't exist, so... yeah. Well, I'm running out of things to say quite quickly because I've rambled about my Yu-Gi-Oh figure wants and desires, but I think I've run out of things to say. What else can I say? Well, I've already talked about all the artwork. Yesterday I wore, for the first time, my Yu-Gi-Oh necklace charms, like pendants? Yeah, that's the word. I put some of my Yu-Gi-Oh pendants on some chains and I wore them. And how does Yugi walk around with that Millennium Puzzle? It just hits into your chest constantly. I mean, maybe because his is like a big heavy metal one, it doesn't swing around as much, I guess. But like the miniature one that I have, it just swings, it jabs into your chest. It's alright, you get used to it, but still, you know? How is he walking around with that? Oh, speaking of the Millennium Puzzle, I decided not to add it into this drawing because I thought it would crowd it too much. So I just left it out, you know? Just for a bit of their piece of drawing time. I'm not really sure how the phone wire turned out. I'm not sure if it's fully realistic. I mean, yes, of course it's not realistic, it's a cartoon drawing, but it's not quite what it should look like, probably, but it's as good as I'm gonna get it for now. I couldn't find our at-home, what do you call these, landline telephones? I couldn't find our landline telephone that has wires like that. We used to have one and it used to be plugged in, and I thought it was still there, but it was not. So I couldn't go and take my own reference picture. I just had to go off what Google had available, and this was the best I could do. So we'll just have to live with it. It's not quite what I would like, but it's okay. Anyway, right. I did 2 final versions of this drawing. I did one without any effects at all, and then I also did one that has a TV filter over the top. It's actually 2 filters that I used. This is the regular one, but the TV filter, I put it in Firewall Packet and used the, what do you call it? I can't remember the filter name. Anyway, I used a Firewall Packet filter and then a GIMP filter to make it look like TV. Anyway, you just saw it. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do not hit the like button as that probably hurts and it's not very nice, so maybe shake his hand instead. With that being said, hope to see you in the next video, and bye!